streaming. What's up, everyone? This is happy 4th of July weekend. We're going to talk about this song that has got on trending this past week. That's at, I don't know, 1.6, 1.7 million views. My most complex pop song of all time. We're going to actually do a breakdown of it, because I really didn't do a breakdown analysis of it. This is for, this is going to incorporate learning about key centers and key changes and different chord voices on guitar. I'm going to have my 4th of July weekend sale. Discount code is July 4, and it's 50% off my Beato book, my ear training course, and my new quick lessons guitar lesson course. So I've never done 50% off. I'm doing it on all three through the Monday night through the 4th at midnight. I think it's Monday, right? Anyways, if you were waiting to get it, anything, or get all of it, this is the time to do it right now, is over this weekend. I've never offered these things at 50% off. I did my Quick Lessons Pro for the opening thing, but I'm doing it with ear training. I've never offered it that low. But it's kind of celebrating my new release, the release of my new guitar course, my Quick Lessons Pro guitar course, which has over 5 hours of lessons. I have a new one I'm going to be adding here probably tomorrow, so it's up to 28 separate full-length lessons, and I keep adding it. You just pay once, and I keep adding it. Anyways, so let's talk about this song here that was the hardest song. I told this funny story of my friend Smitty learning it for this gig, or trying to learn it for this gig on first listening when it was #1, but we had never heard the song because we were college students and we didn't listen to pop radio at the time, right? So the song starts out, and here it is. This is the intro chord progression, right? So it starts out F sharp minor, B minor, E over G sharp, A. Now this is pretty, this thing, E over G sharp, A over C sharp. E over G sharp is just first inversion, A over C sharp is the first inversion. So it's really just E, A. Okay, so D add 9, E add 9, F sharp major add 9. Okay, let's talk about the analysis of it. This is very similar to a song called All the Things You Are by Jerome Kern. Now, we realize the pattern of this. It's a 6-2-5-1-4 kind of, but it doesn't really start doing this till later on in the song. But the beginning of the chord progression, this is the 6 chord, the 2 chord. This is all in A major here, okay? It's weird to hold my guitar and do this. This is the 5 chord. We're going to include it for here. This is the 1 chord. Okay, so this is a 6-2-5-1 in the key of A. Now D is your 4 chord, right? So 6-2-5-1-4. Then 5. And here's your first chord that changes keys. This is a major 6 chord. Now, I said in the video that chord normally would be F sharp minor 7 if it were in the key of A major. But this is a borrowed chord. Okay, so typically the progression, if you were in A, would be, right? Which is, it plays the F sharp minor here, but this is modal interchange, so it goes to F sharp major. Forget the add 9. Add 9 doesn't even matter. It's an F sharp major chord, okay? All right, so this was easy enough. What, Billy?
What song is it?
All the Things You Are, Jerome Kern.
Oh no, but what's the song?
Oh, Never Gonna Let You Go. Oh yeah. This is Sergio Mendes. The song was actually written by Cynthia Weil and Barry Mann, who were brill-building pro songwriters that had many hit songs in the past. These were pros. Sergio Mendes did not write the song. It's not a Brazilian song. It's by these pro songwriters. And the people that played on it were all like the best session players in LA for the most part. No, they were. I mean, they were literally, like, Michael Landau played the guitar solo at the end. He's one of the best guitar players ever. But this song is insanely complicated, right? So then it goes up to this G minor. So you go from F sharp major and then The verse starts on G minor where the singing starts. So G minor, C minor 7, F. Well, what we've done is basically done the same chord change again, right? So this, if you say this is in the key of F here, I'm sorry, in the key of B flat. B flat. B flat. So, what we've done is we've modulated from A to B flat. This is 6, 2, 5, 1. Don't be fooled by this inversion. B flat over D just means this chord. Here's B flat over D. It's just the first inversion B flat major chord. And then E flat is the 4 chord in B flat. Right? Then back to the 1 chord. This is where it starts to get tricky. Okay? Now, Paul and I saw the pattern here, 62514, 5 major 6. Okay, got that. And then we start the verse. We're like 62514 in B flat, 1. Okay, 62541. 1. Okay, well the pattern then starts to get different here. This is where it gets confusing. Then it goes like let me play this again. So okay, this is this chord E flat over A flat is really like an A flat major 9 no third. But what you look at, you'd call this an A flat major chord. Okay, so this is definitely from a different key. Okay, so if you think of if you're in the key of B flat and you have an A flat major chord, that's really like a flat 7 major. Flat 7. Okay. Now you can always account for one chord that's out of key and say it's a borrowed chord. But then you get this, and you got, which is really like an F7, which is in B flat, but then it goes to this is like F11 or F sus. But then you go to G sus, so you know that you're moving somewhere to a new key here. Okay, so this, we'll call this the 5 chord in B flat. And then this, it modulates up a whole step. Okay, so that would be, you could say it's like the 6 chord, but it's really a dominant. Okay, so it starts to get into this gray area. Okay, let's say that this is a 5 chord and you've modulated. Okay, because this chord here goes to E minor 7. The E minor 7 could be acting like a C major 7, be like a 5-1 in the key of C, but it really is 5 to 3. And that could be a substitution there. But if you start looking at this chord progression, you'd be like, well, this looks like the same chord progression as here, because it is. All right? So, once again, you're like, okay, well, what key are we in then? Okay, if this is a 6, 2, 5, 1, 4, you're in the key of G here. Okay, so G. G major. This is your transition chord here. So you could say that this can belong to this key, or it could belong to this key, but it doesn't really belong to this key, right? So I would just call this a dominant 6 chord, okay? So just call it major 6, right? 6. If you think about it, right, we have this major 6 here. This is add 9. This is a dominant chord. So this would be like a 6, 7. This is where it's confusing because these things are not, they don't function like they would normally function. This is where it becomes incredibly hard to memorize, okay? Then you're just memorizing individual chords. You're looking for patterns, okay? So the pattern here, 6, 2, 5, 1. This D over C, it goes D, D over C, G over B. This is a first inversion G major chord. Don't let the inverted chord fool you. This is the same as, it's just the first inversion G major. So it's really the 1 chord. Then C is the 4, back to the 1, back to the 5, and this 5, D11. And This chord is a D7 chord, okay, but in third inversion. So it's a 5-7, but in third inversion, meaning first inversion, second inversion, third inversion, okay, D7. Okay, now we go to the pre-chorus. Okay, so this is really, you're seeing how complicated this is. Pretty much almost impossible to memorize, right? Okay, so I'm going to erase this. We're going to talk about this All Things You Are again in a minute. But because some of the derivation of this is related to the chord progressions of All Things You Are. All Things You Are was written by Jerome Kern in 1939. Now, 1939, I just erased my discount code there. 1939 was the year that Gone with the Wind was the best picture, and the year that The Wizard of Oz came out. So both those movies came out. I know that because my mom went to the movie theater and watched both those movies. So my mom was born in 1925, so that was when she was 14. She watched both those movies in the movie theater. Okay, the pre-chorus goes to B flat, sus2. Then like F over A. And then for G minor. Let me get my guitar here. C over E. We'll do G minor 7. Then C over F to F. Then C sus2. G over B. Then F sharp minor 7. B. And then B over E. E. B over E. E. And then E flat minor 7 flat 5. A flat 7 sharp 5. And then it goes to the chorus. And the chorus starts F minor. Let me make sure I got enough space here, because I need space for the analysis. F minor 7, B flat minor 7, F minor 7, B flat minor 7. Let's see, E flat over D, C minor 7 flat 6. Then C minor 7 flats. Then it goes. Oh, then this. Okay, this is where the thing goes. D flat, G 7 to C. This is where it has this all the things you are bit. Okay, this is where it gets confusing. Then B flat over C to C over D. And then the second half is F sharp minor 7, B minor 7, E over D. E flat over D flat. E over D. C sharp minor 7, 7 flat 6. And then D add 9, E add 9, F sharp add 9. Okay, now this is really tricky, the chorus here, right? You guys all with me? Okay, so we just came from the we're just coming from the pre-chorus, so or we're going to the pre-chorus, so we just hit the I'm trying to think where it goes. Oh, all right, it goes D11, D over C to B flat sus2. People call this the mu chord. This is like a Steely Dan thing. So, okay, so this would be, let's say we're in. So you've got G minor, you have B flat, you have F, you have C. Don't let these inversions fool you, okay? So if this is in the key of F, which it is, okay, this is the 4 chord, this is the 1 chord, this is the 2 chord, this is the 1 chord, the 5 chord, this is the 1, this is actually 5 over 1, but it's really a 1 chord, that's a 1 chord. Then it changes keys here. It actually moves up a whole step to the key of G. So this would be the 4 chord, the 1 chord, and then you're in a new key here. This is in the key of E. And this is the 2 chord, the 5 chord, then the 1 chord here. This is all filler chords on the key of E. And then this is the 2-5 in the key of D flat. So now you're D flat major. This is a minor 2-5. This is minor 2-5 there. The 5 chord, 5-7 sharp 5 in the key of D flat. But it doesn't go to D flat. It goes to F minor. Okay? So, let me play these for you. It's like... When you're changing keys like this, you're going from F major to G major to E major to D flat major just in how many bars? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bars. So it's a 6-bar pre-chorus, and you change keys 4 times. All right? Let me talk a little bit about these things here. So some of these things that are, they sound cool, but they're not really, they're less complex than they sound. G minor 7, C over E. This is basically going G minor 7, C to F. But what they've done is they do G minor 7, C over E, first inversion, then F over C, which is F major 9, and then to F major. Okay, so it's a little kind of tricky thing just to add color to the chord progression here, just in this bar here. Then you go up here to this. If you think about it, these are kind of like the Steely Dan chord changes, or After the Love Is Gone, Earth, Wind, and Fire. These were kind of started, these were really in vogue. It started in the 70s with the Steely Dan songs, right? When you start having chord progressions like... from Josie, right? That'll get me demonetized, but... is that the key it's in? I think. Maybe it's here. But these add 9 chords like this, and Steely Dan would do a lot of these. Those are really common chord progressions. It's like major 9 no third down to that major 7 minor 7 sharp 5. That had become a really common move in the 70s, and then in the early 80s pop, kind of R&B soul music that this was, or people would call it adult contemporary music. I love that term didn't really happen until the 90s. You would have these kind of things. But really in the early 80s only. Chicago, Earth, Wind, and Fire, a lot of stuff that Jay Graydon, my good friend, produced. You know, like I said, Steely Dan, they would use these kind of chords that were taken from really kind of from fusion. I wouldn't say from some of these are from jazz, but these are more from fusion, like jazz fusion stuff that was out at the time. Okay, so then the chorus. The chorus goes, so you're going here. I'm never gonna let you go. Now this is really like All the Things You Are. You are the promised kiss of springtime that makes the only lonely winter seem long. Literally, this is All the Things You Are chord progression right here. Okay? But it's hidden. It's hidden. Right? All the Things You Are is 1 bar a piece of the chord. So this is a 6, 2, 5. Don't let that fool you. That's just walking down dominant chord 1. The C minor 7 flat, C minor 7 should be flat 6, is really A flat over C. We'll call it A flat add 9 over C. So, but it's really like a C minor 7, but it's disguising that. So it's C minor 7 is really a substitute for that A flat major chord. But we're going to call this a 1. It's really a 3 chord, okay? It's kind of a faked out All the Things You Are to the 4 chord. And then this is a 5-1 in the key of C. So you've changed keys again here. So this is the key of A flat. Okay? Although there is no A flat here. There's a C minor 7. What's that? Yeah. So this is really, really, I just banged my guitar about 50 times there. Sorry about that, Gibson. I call my guitar Gibson. I'm just joking. If you were to take the song All the Things You Are, those are literally the chord changes in the opening 8 bars of it. Okay, so those. But it's kind of, like I said, it's a hidden version of that. By the way, discount code for today's live stream, July 4. If you guys haven't bought anything at my store ever, if you don't have the Beato book, you don't have my ear training course or my new Quick Lessons Pro guitar course, everything is 50% off. I never have done this sale ever before. It's through the midnight of the 4th. If you're hesitating to buy something, this is the time to buy it. So, Beato book, ear training, my Beato ear training. This is how you learn these songs by ear, and you get really good at hearing all these inversions and all these different kind of chord changes. So you can just hear the songs and figure them out. A song like this you can hear and figure out, but this takes, on first listening, to memorize it and play it on a gig. That I wouldn't recommend. What I should have done is I should have just listened to it, written out the chord chart, and then played the gig and just looked at it. Had I looked at it a couple times, I mean, by the 3rd day we played it, we had it memorized. No problem. Once we saw what the chord patterns were. Anyways, so you can see the key changes here. We're in D flat here, we're in A flat here, right? And now we're in C here. But then this chord here, and then this chord progression is a half step above this one. You can see this. F sharp minor 7, F minor 7, B minor 7, B flat minor 7, E. It's the same chord progression, just everything up a half step. Just take off this flat 6. So it's going to be, this is in the key of E here. All right? This is 6, 2, 5. No, I'm sorry, key of A. Key of A. Key of A. We modulated up a half step here. 6, 2, 5. I'm going to call this 1, even though it's a 3 substitute for 1. Because this really kind of could be A major over C sharp. 4, 5, 6. That 4, 5, 6 is really like the intro of the song, right? I swear this time I'm never going to let you go. So that's like the first thing that we could grab onto. And then we're thinking, okay, we're home free. Because it is the second verse. The second verse, let me think here. The second verse is the same. Okay, yeah. So the second verse is the same. So this is the whole, through the chorus of the song. Then we're going to talk about the solo. Because the solo is really interesting and very tricky. But I think it's really cool. It's, this is the kind of stuff that in my ear training course that we teach a lot of. It's recognizing chord movement and inversions, right? How the bass is moving, how the key, if it's changing keys, how the key center is moving, how to do the analysis by ear of it. You know, like, 62514. Just being able to recognize it. When I say 62514, this is the Nashville number system, or Roman numeral analysis in classical music, but that's really what we call it. Okay? So the solo section, is like E flat minor 7, E flat minor 7 over D flat, then A flat over C, then it's let me think here. I have to A flat over C, then C sharp over B, then B flat minor 7, then B flat minor 7, B over A, then G sharp minor 7, F sharp over A sharp, then F sharp over A sharp, let me think here, then B, then F minor 7 flat 5, B flat 7 flat 9, E flat major 7, like the only normal 251 in here, and then I think it goes D minor 7 flat 5, G 7 sharp 5, and then it goes to the last chorus, the solo. The last chorus is E minor 7. Okay, so we're gonna talk about this, the solo section. So the solo section, but this is like a grad theory, music theory composition seminar here, right? How am I doing on time? Okay, I got 3 minutes or so. I was thinking I want to get through, and I wanted to get up to the last chorus in this, because this is really where all the action here is. Da 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 da. So this is where we go back to the same chord pattern, but in a completely different key again. All right. So right here, it starts out E flat minor. So if we think about this, you can say, okay, well, what would this be? Okay, so if you're in the key of, you could be in the key of D flat, and that would be the 2-chord walk down. Or this could be in the key of, let's say we're in D flat. So this would be 2, this is just an inverted 2 chord. A flat would be the 5 chord. And then, but then you go here and you're like, well, that's D flat 7 to B flat minor. Well, then you're saying, well, are we in A flat major? But then it goes here, okay? Anytime you have a dominant chord, that's the key. That's always going to be the 5 chord that you're in, okay? So where do you have dominant chords? Right here, this is a 5 chord here, and this is a 5 chord here. Those are inverted 5 chords. They're third inversion, dominant 7th chords. This chord, okay, is, if you do, this is a third inversion, wait, did I write it wrong? Yeah, C sharp over B. Yeah, so this is like a D flat 7 or C sharp 7, right? So it'd be like, you can hear that, okay? So this would be the 5 chord in the key of F sharp. You say, well, wow, okay, this chord really is from F sharp or G flat, okay? This would be the 6th chord in the key of F sharp. So you got 6. You say, okay, well, what about this chord? Is this chord from G flat, A flat? No. Okay, this is once again where it gets confusing, because this is a borrowed chord. So I would say, you've got all this modal interchange going on here. And this progression is basically is all about voice leading. This here, the G, this, right? So I would say 6, 5, 1, 6, 5, 1. But then 2, 5, 1 in E flat. So you're definitely in E flat here. This is a key of E flat. This is definitely the key of B major. Here, 6, 5, 1 in B major. Then this is E flat major. This is a minor 2. It's actually E flat minor. 2, 7. This is a key of E flat minor, but it resolves to E flat major. Okay, so there's modal interchange going on there. 2, 5, 1. Because normally in the key of E flat, this chord would just be F minor 7. It would be this. But this is. Okay, so this is really a borrowed chord. And then you have 2, 5, and this is a key of C minor right here. That's a 2, 5 in the key of C minor. But it resolves to E minor 7. It's the same resolution as this, but with this being a substitute for C major 7. E minor 7 is a 3-chord substitute for C major 7. Your C major 7, E minor 7 is like a C major 7. If I go, put C in the bass, it's like it's C major 9 chord. Okay, that's why if I'm playing a C major 7 chord, I can play an E minor 7. That gives you a C major 7 or C major 9 arpeggio. So I play an E minor 7 arpeggio and end it on C to give me that E major 9 arpeggio. Okay, why is it important to learn this stuff? Well, it's not important to learn this song. You guys know this is kind of a corny song, right? But it's an interesting song. And it's a song to learn from. And it's a song unlike anything that I'd ever really seen in pop music, other than After the Love Is Gone, which was a Earth, Wind, and Fire song. And at the time, people were trying to write these songs kind of that sounded natural. The song doesn't sound weird, but it changes key all over the place. You had to have really great singers. The two singers were pro session singers that came in to sing this. They had incredibly good ears and could follow the modulations. And it's very melodic, so it was easy. It didn't sound weird to have these weird chord changes in it, right? But what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to hear these things and recognize them. You want to figure out what the chord quality is. Is it a minor chord, minor 7 flat 5, minor 7 flat 6, dominant 7 flat 9, dominant 7 sharp 5, major 7, My ear training course will teach you how to do all this, okay? You'll learn how to recognize these things, recognize these chord progressions. Because if you can recognize the inversions, like if you hear this chord and you say, oh, that's a third inversion dominant chord. Because my ear training course tests you for these things. Like it shows you, I explain the things, and then it drills these different chord inversions, right? 50% discount is July 4. That's a discount code. So for my Beato book, my new Quick Lessons Pro course, and my ear training course are all 50% off. If you wanted to get any one of them, this is the time to do it, because I've never, ever had a 50% sale, except with my guitar course, because I just released it. So this is the time to get this stuff. And what do you do with them? You use them as a reference for my videos. And if you go back and watch my live streams, most of them are whiteboard presentations of music theory, okay, where I go over these things. They're music theory, they're ear training. These are all things. I'm not holding anything behind this, I'm giving it all here. But you want to have these things so you can get good at doing this yourself. It's one thing just to watch somebody do this and take it in that way. It's another thing to actually memorize what these things are. That's why you buy my book, and it explains how the chords are built. That's why you check out my ear training course, because then you need to recognize them by ear. And my guitar course shows you how to play the stuff on the guitar if you're a guitarist. And it shows you a lot of other things. So these are your text. Think of these as your textbook for my channel. Okay, my Beato book was my textbook when I was a guitar professor, when I was a music professor, because it's really about it's not a guitar course. It's actually a theory and improvisation book, right? But it explains to you from the basics of intervals, like how is an interval built. So does my ear training course. They literally start at the dead beginning of what is an interval, how do you hear it, how do you name it, okay? If you know intervals, you can follow the bass motion of the chords. Then you recognize what they are, if they're a first inversion major chord, if they're a second inversion major chord, if they're a minor 7 flat 5 chord, whatever. And you develop your vocabulary of recognized sounds, right? I'm always harping on that. Oh, I've gone way over here. There you go. Go to my store. Do yourself a favor. This is something that you can use to follow along on the channel with, okay? This is a very complex thing. Discount code July 4. Have a great weekend, everybody. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys later.